8 simple steps. That's it. Every single sponsorship you will ever do with a brand will follow 8 simple steps.
But Justin, what about...
No.
But what happens when they...
No.
But what do I do if I...
No. Trust me. 8 steps every time. Step 1. The pitch. Whether you're reaching out to the brand, cold DMing them, sliding in their DMs, or maybe they're reaching out to you trying to propose a partnership, something is being pitched. This is how the relationship is always going to start. By the way, this includes if you've worked with the brand before, because there always has to be some impetus to restart the conversation. The most important thing to understand is that the pitch is a starting point. If you propose something to a brand and they're not feeling it, or they ask to be the official sponsor of your unhinged Twitter rants, you can always just pitch something else. A lot of creators think that they have one shot to hook the brand and get them excited, but in my experience, in almost every situation, there are going to be some changes from what is initially proposed. And you should welcome that. This is the phase where you can work collaboratively to ensure that both you and the brand are super stoked about the content you'll be creating for them. I think a lot of creators look at the pitching phase as this impossibly tall mountain that you have to scale on the very first try. But even professional mountain climbers don't scale a mountain in one day. They make base camps, attack different parts of the mountain on different days, and then they make their way for the summit. Once they're in the right spot, the weather is perfect, and they have a clear head. It's the exact same way with pitching a brand. The goal of your initial pitch should be just to get you to that first base camp, rope them in, get them excited about a certain aspect of your pitch, and then move on to the next phase of the discussion once you have a better understanding of what that brand is trying to accomplish. Then after all that, the final portion of your pitch to get you to the summit will actually be kind of anticlimactic because it's more about ironing out the final details of the partnership. So be honest, doesn't pitching feel a lot less intimidating now? Wait, no? You're more intimidated? We'll see. Step 2, the negotiation. Wait. Negotiation? Isn't that something you do during the pitch? No, because your job is to lead with all this incredible value that you're going to provide to them, and then treat the amount of money that they have to pay you as a minor secondary consideration. If you lead with the price, then it's always going to feel like there are two sides, you and them. But the moment that you take your chair and you move it to the other side of the table where they're sitting, oh, well, now it's a true partnership. This thing that you're proposing is a direct response to a marketing challenge or business objective that they have. Side note, is it creepy or not creepy to sit on the same side of the table as your partner at a restaurant? I really need to know where you land on this. Also, to clarify, I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring up money. Oh, you should bring up money as soon as possible, but it's all about the positioning. Money should be an obvious resource that they have to part with in order for you to deliver this thing that you're proposing. There should never be a question in their mind as to why they have to compensate you for this. And the reason that so many brand deals get hung up in this phase is because the creator has not done a good enough job at articulating how this proposal is the answer to what the brand has stated are their goals for the campaign. By the way, if negotiation and pricing and calculating your worth is something that you're finding very tricky, week 2 of my Brand Deal Wizard course focuses on this exact thing. So check out the link in the description box to learn more, or go to branddealwizard.com. Step 3, the contract. Yes, you need a contract. No, an email thread is not sufficient as proof. Neither is an Instagram DM. It's absolutely critical that you memorialize everything that you've discussed with the brand into a written agreement. What are the deliverables? What are the usage rights? What are the exclusivity terms? What are the payment terms? Where is the creative brief, which describes the key messages you should discuss in the content? And there's a whole host of other things that are important, like limitation of liability and termination clauses, like what happens if the brand decides to back out and you've already shot the content but haven't posted it yet. Pretty important to ensure that you have language covering scenarios like that. So in my experience, the likelihood that you'll ever need to take a brand to court is extremely low, because that would take thousands and thousands of dollars. But the simple act of each party signing on the dotted line saying we are both going to commit to seeing this partnership through, it absolutely brings a heightened level of responsibility and commitment to honoring the terms of the deal. And you might say, well, you know what? This part is too confusing. I've gotten the deal to this point, but if I ask for changes to the contract or ask for a contract at all, the brand is gonna back out. They're not gonna back out. If it's a legitimate brand or agency, they won't back out. Or maybe you're thinking, well, the compensation isn't large enough to justify hiring a lawyer to help me review the contract. Do it anyway. Consider it an investment in your growing career as a creator. Even if you break even on this partnership, you're now able to see what that lawyer struck from the agreement, what they redlined, what they suggested going back to the brand to change. All of that stuff is going to get burned into your memory for the next time you do a deal, and you'll be that much smarter. Heck, even if you don't have a deal that you're working on right now, you can go out and hire a lawyer to create a contract template for you in the event that the brand asks you for a contract. Last thing you want to do is be caught flat-footed and just agree to a deal because you need the money but aren't adequately protected. So do yourself a favor and invest in a professional to help make you look more professional. Step 4, the concept. So you've signed the contract now, you can just start shooting the content, right? No, definitely do not do that. Even if the brand says you're good to go now, because the last thing that you want to do is spend a week or two shooting and editing these incredible assets, and then you go back to the brand all excited to share them, and then it's like you walk into a bar and it's like, record scratch. The brand says, hey, wait a minute, this is not what we had in mind at all. This has happened to my wife and me so many times over the years until we finally learned our lesson. You have to provide the brand with a very detailed concept about how you are going to bring the partnership to life so that they can approve that before you shoot. Because inevitably what's gonna happen is they come back with these random notes and requirements that were never discussed. Don't you think it's better to incorporate that kind of thing prior to shooting? So again, even if the brand is not requiring you to submit a concept, believe me, it will behoove you to spend just a few minutes jotting down your high-level thoughts and getting their blessing before you ever hit record. By the way, I just realized that this blue light here was off for a little while, and there's a very good reason. Just roll the footage. Step 5, the production. Now you can finally shoot the content. You probably didn't think there were 4 steps prior to this, did you? But there's a lot more to being a creator than creating when you work with brands. So the most important thing to keep in mind during production is ensuring that you are adhering to the timeline that you committed to earlier in the conversation. When a brand tells you that they have a specific deadline that you need to submit the content by, that's not a suggestion. It always blows my mind how lackadaisical creators are about deadlines. You realize that the brand is likely working with a ton of other creators, right? If it's an agency, by turning it in late, you just made them look really bad because they told their client that they were going to send drafts of your content to the brand by the end of the day. Do you think it's a good thing to make them look bad? Hint, it's not. I bet you have your own workflow when you create content, right? So don't you think the brand or the agency also has their own processes when they work with outside partners like you? And when you disrupt that, there are cascading repercussions that can impact lots of other things. Maybe this means that they have to delay their press release about the overall campaign. Maybe this means that they have to put the brakes on all the other influencers that were supposed to post because they wanted them to go live all at the same time. I've been doing this long enough to tell you that there can be actual, real life, really annoying consequences that come with turning stuff in late. So just don't annoy them. Step 6, the feedback. Sweet, the brand's just gonna give it a quick glance and a quick thumbs up within an hour or two, right? No. First, the account coordinator at the agency is gonna look at it. They're gonna, make their notes, send it to the account manager, who's gonna then forward it over to the account director, but then we'll be good, right? No. Then they're gonna forward it to the PR agency, then to the media agency, then to the assistant brand manager at the brand, who's then gonna pull in the brand manager, who's just gonna, quickly check something with the legal team and the paid media team. Oh shoot, gotta just quickly check that all your vendor paperwork is in order with the finance team. Look at the time, it's 3 weeks later. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. It's absolutely critical that you ask the brand what their typical feedback process looks like, because you need to make sure that is going to work with your own organic content schedule. I almost forgot. You have to submit the revised piece of content for final approval, and then the waiting game can start all over again. Of course, it's not always gonna be like this. Sometimes they will approve it within a day, but it's all about ensuring that your expectations are aligned ahead of time. Step 7, the publication. Now we can finally post this dang piece of content. There we go, posted. My job here is done. Gonna go get an ice cream cone, not look at my emails for the rest of the day, not answer any phone calls or text messages. Does that seem like a good idea? I mean, ice cream does sound pretty nice. You deserve it for all that hard work. But the job is not done yet. Inevitably, there are going to be small, tiny details the brand forgot to mention or you screwed up when you posted the content. There's a hashtag missing. You forgot to do the FTC disclosure. You misspelled something. You didn't properly tag the brand. Any number of things can come up. So it's really critical that you immediately send the published post to the brand so that they have the opportunity to flag stuff like that and let you know as soon as possible so that you can make the updates. I cannot tell you how many times I've hired creators through my influencer agency. Everything went pretty well, but then they made some glaring error when they posted it, and then we had the brand breathing down our neck wanting it fixed as soon as possible, and we couldn't get a hold of them. We looked terrible. We looked sloppy. We were annoyed at the creator because they were sloppy. It makes us not want to hire them again, and what should have been the climax of the partnership, the crescendo, if you will, where everyone is high-fiving each other, popping champagne, going to get ice cream cones. Instead, the brand's annoyed. So please just carve out a little extra time on the day you post, and if it rings, pick up your dang phone. Step 8, the invoice. Wait, step 8? I already posted the content. What more do you want from me? Don't worry, this is gonna be the fun part. They're just gonna ring your doorbell and hand you a big bag of cash with a money symbol on it. Okay, they're not really gonna do that. They're probably gonna send you a check or PayPal or wire you, but just once, I wish a brand would send me a bag with a money symbol. Is that too much to ask? By the way, make sure you're reading the fine print during the contract step so that you're completely aware with how long it's going to take you to get paid. They're not just gonna pay you within 24 hours. Oftentimes, it's going to be net 30 or net 60, which means 30 or 60 calendar days from when you post. So before you go out there and tell all of the kids in the neighborhood, ice cream cones for everyone, just make sure that charge is gonna clear. So look, we're not done. Watch this video where I talk about how to survive your first negotiation. Look, I get it. Negotiating with a brand can be terrifying, especially when you feel like you have no idea what you're doing. I definitely did when I started out, but I'm a survivor and soon you're gonna be one too. So click the video. Come on.